Good day. This is John Armwood here on the Armwood Opinion channel on YouTube. It's good to see you guys again. Though I actually can't see you, but you can see me. But I'm out in the park again. And today I'm going to talk a little bit about the legal situation going on with Donald Trump and his cohorts. The standing committee in the House of Representatives that the Republicans refused to participate on en masse, save for Elizabeth Cheney and one other person, is getting ready to bring in people from the Trump campaign organization to testify. They're issuing subpoenas, which is a really good approach. Not to wait, not to ask them to voluntarily come in, but go ahead and subpoena them. Have them come in by order and see if they challenge the subpoena. Donald Trump has already said that he thinks that, his executive privilege covers them and they don't have to testify. Obviously, anyone familiar with the law knows that that is not true. Executive privilege only protects someone who is in office. It doesn't protect someone once they're out of office. So he has a tough road to go using that as a way of avoiding having his people testify. And so that's not going to happen. He obviously could take the fifth, claiming that he is protected because anything that he might say might lead to criminal charges against him. And he can do that. But I'm sure that a lot is going to come out of this investigation. We know a lot already. We know clearly that the insurrection on January 6th was inspired by and organized to some extent by Trump and his staff, and apparently some people in the House of Representatives like McCarthy, who is the minority leader. It looks like his involvement is pretty clear. So there's some problems that the Trump administration and its former leadership team, as well as some members of the House of Representatives, are facing that may not go away quickly. This is going to be an interesting process. It'll really take the next year. I doubt it's going to go past 2022, because in 2023 we'll be preparing for the 2024 election. And as I mentioned in a blog I did yesterday, I don't think Trump's going to be a serious candidate in 2024. He'll probably make a symbolic run for it, but with all the negative publicity surrounding his actions while president, and especially the insurrection slightly before he left office on January 6th, I think that any chance of him making a serious run of the presidency is basically not going to happen. The real question is, what do we need to do? We need to press President Biden to take care of our agenda. The first thing has to be voting rights. Because without voting rights being protected, then whether we win on an election or not will be controlled by political appointees of the Republicans. That's what the law has done in Georgia. It took the elections away from the Attorney General, who last election was Raffensperger, who told Trump that he wasn't going to find the 11,800 votes that Trump mentioned he needed in the phone call. You've all heard that. You're not going to have the very repressive and restrictive voting measures that you have in Texas, that you have in Arizona, that have been put in place to restrict people of color voting. They've made it very, very difficult in Harris County. They've made it very, very difficult here in the Atlanta area, in Fulton County. They've made it so it's very, very hard for concentrations of black and Hispanic people to vote. That is the Republican playbook. The numbers are against them. The census that just came out made that clear, that the numbers are against them. So how else can they win but to cheat? And that's what they're doing. We have to not let them. Biden is not working as hard as he could. He needs to call for an amendment to the Senate rule for the filibuster. Have Chuck Schumer say, Chuck Schumer, we have to get this done. And Manchin, whatever you want, you're not going to get it unless you go along with this modification. That's the pressure that we need. Biden has not done that, to his shame. We need that pressure now. People of color, we need to not just go along passively and think that, oh, good old Joe will take care of us. He never has. Remember, he was opposed to busing while black kids were getting beat up in Boston. In fact, he called for a constitutional amendment to ban busing. I was bused in the early 60s. I was spat on. I was not allowed to participate in class elections. I know what busing was like. Biden sided with the people that were opposing it. He sided with the Southerners and the racists in the North. Biden is not on our side. Obama picked him because he needed a dumb redneck to run with him to balance the ticket. He wanted Tom Kaine. It wasn't because Biden was a good man. It was because he wanted to get dumb white males to vote for him. And Biden's a dumb white male. That's all it was about. Listen to Biden speak, and it's not hard to see that. Even Trump makes fun of him. And he's another dumb white male, even dumber than Biden. So we have to put pressure on Biden, put pressure on the Democratic Party. The Democratic Party cannot win without us. So we must make our votes mean something. They've got to pay for it by following our agenda. In other words, it's our way, Democratic Party, or the highway. That's what we have to let them know. If you want to win, you can't just come around election time and say, oh, we're wonderful, we're like you. You can't show up to our churches, you can't show up to town halls and expect to get our votes. You have to protect our voting rights, bring services to our communities, and listen to what we have to say and do what we want. Or we're going to put our foot up your derriere, figuratively and literally. And literally meaning we're going to boot you out of office if you don't do it. And that's it. It's quite and simple. It's simple, straight ahead politics. Alrighty. This is John Armwood on the Armwood Opinion channel, saying resistance is not futile, and we have to resist the Republicans, but we have to resist the BS that comes from the Democrats also. And right now, there's a lot of it coming from Joe Biden. A lot of talk, but no action. So we have to make him